Welcome to Soulfire Wisdom with Kate Olson. As an evolving spirit and change adventure navigator, it is Kate's mission to empower and guide you on your path and inspire your truest passions. She will encourage you to share your gifts, speak your truth, and ignite your inner wisdom and purpose. She hopes to do so with a little humor and grace, and her own soulfire passion. Kate talks with amazing guests who have embraced the pursuit and are fanning the flames of their own passion, purpose, and soulfire wisdom. Now here's your host, Kate.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Soulfire Wisdom and Tips, Tricks, and Triumphs Tuesday. So I do have a little bit of a triumph this week, as I mentioned last week with the snow and everything. My HVAC system had been out, and the parts did arrive, and it's working now. So I've been, it got fixed on Friday, so I had a warm and cozy weekend and learned that my HVAC system is not supposed to sound like a freight train. Since I've lived in Washington and it sounded like that ever since I turned it on, I actually didn't know it wasn't normal. I thought it was really annoying, but I actually didn't know. But I'm glad it doesn't, and I'm glad to have heat again. So we have a great show planned for today. My guest is Hare Allison, and Hara is a photographer from Spokane, Washington, and she's loved photography since she was very young, and she actually spent all her money that she earned at her part-time job at the Great American Chocolate Chip Cookie shop during high school, buying photography supplies. And she really loved, watching her photographs develop. And even today, she gets just as excited editing photos after a photo shoot. She takes wedding pictures, business, and family photographs or portraits. And she tries to bring out the uniqueness and beauty of her subjects. So I'm excited to talk to her today. I discovered her, I think, first on Facebook and then on Instagram, and watching her photos, I could feel the passion she had for what she does. And so that's why I asked her to come on, and I'm excited to introduce her. Hi. Hara, how are you?
Hi. Good, thank you. How are you?
Great.
Awesome.
So I just gave a little overview. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what brought you to your current path?
Sure. Well, I'm happily married with 5 children, including stepchildren. And I've been a graphic designer for 30 years. And I've always loved photography, had a darkroom in my bedroom in high school. And a couple years ago, I attended a conference. I think it was October of 2019. And I was taking selfies with this lady I had just met, and she kept not liking herself in the pictures. And I asked her if after the conference I could take pictures of her to show her what I saw, because I thought she was so beautiful and she was nitpicking, which we all do. And that's sort of how photography as a profession came because I realized I can see people's beauty where they don't often see it.
Oh, so you've actually only been doing photography
Professionally.
for a couple years?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But it's definitely where my passion is. And yeah, I love it. Just like when, I mean, it's not a good habit to be into, but every time I do a photo shoot, I can't wait to get home and develop the photos and see what's gonna, what I took, what I captured. I just, my mom passed away when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
And the photos I have of her and I are my most precious, gifts I have. And so I'm a real believer in capturing precious moments. And I love it. It really makes me happy.
So you do several different types of photography. What type do you enjoy most?
I think I have a real knack for helping women feel empowered and beautiful. And it's something I can relate to in terms of not feeling your best and then seeing a photo of yourself and seeing your beauty, like discovering it, which I just love doing for women. And I really, really enjoy taking pictures of little kids for the exact opposite reason, in that they are not self-conscious and they don't notice whether they're cute or not. They're just having fun, and that's real pleasure.
Yes. So do you have a goal? Do you have something that you like to accomplish with your photography?
Well, I'm always annoying my friends by documenting life. I'm before I even had a good camera, I was constantly documenting. That's what I call it, taking selfies and making sure everything was captured. And so that is my goal, is to capture precious moments. And, because my mom died so young, she was only 46. I know how precious life is. And it's not to don't wait for the next day. Don't wait till tomorrow.
Yes.
So
I definitely agree with you. Unfortunately for myself, I didn't like photographs of myself for a long, long time, and I didn't let anybody take any until one day, kind of looking at everyone else in photographs, I felt like I hadn't even been there.
Right.
So
Yes, it's a crime that we are so. That's really my passion, is that we don't waste a precious moment, a precious evening with a group of friends because we're unsure of how we look, or we don't like the way we look, or our hair's not right, or we're gained 10 pounds. Who cares? Nobody cares. I want the picture.
That is so true, but I don't know where I got the attitude or feeling, but I have decades without any
Me
photos.
too. No, me too. I've gone to, one thing stands out in particular for me, that I went to an event and I felt so heavy that I never left my car and I drove home. And I'm so disappointed that who would care if I was heavy or not? I mean, truly. So something clicked in my head a few years ago, and that's why it's my passion, is to not waste a precious moment with not loving myself as much as I would love my beautiful children, whether they were, they could be 600 pounds and I think they were beautiful. And why don't I honor myself with that kind of love? And so I finally got there, and that's what I want for everybody, because it's too precious of a life to waste worrying that your butt's big.
Or whatever.
Or whatever it is, right? Whatever, whatever scar, whatever, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's a real passion of mine to not waste a moment.
What I thought was, when I finally did decide that I was going to let people take photographs and even take selfies and whatever, it was really hard for me. And I did not like a lot of those pictures.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
And then, but what I thought about was, and I don't have any grandchildren yet, but what I thought was, when I do have grandchildren, they're going to think I was always old. Because I don't have any of the in-between pictures.
Right, that's funny. And you're so beautiful too. Isn't it funny how we just are so hard on ourselves? There's nothing not to, I don't know. I found at my heaviest, the easiest way for me to find my beauty was to pick one thing. Like, I like my eyes. And so if I could just hold on to that in a photo, like, look at my eyes, they're pretty, you know, things like that.
Well, it also depends on how you are feeling, how the photograph comes across. Like, I was always, you know, not wanting people to take pictures of me. So and I believed that I couldn't smile. So I was always making these horrible faces and not smiling and going like this. And that doesn't make a good picture.
Right, right. So I think my talent is making women feel comfortable. I like talking to somebody for an hour, you know, and getting to know them before the camera ever gets picked up. And it becomes really intimate. And then it's not like, you know, and I always say the worst that can happen is you won't like any of the pictures. So what? So so what? We'll do it again another day, or, you know, it's never happened. Of course, you'll find a picture that you love, and, you know, and I've captured who you are because I get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, that is true. That's the other thing I found when I eventually let people take pictures, was that, you know, when a photographer takes pictures of you, they take lots of pictures. And
Yes.
Some of them you're going to like, and some of them you won't. And
I've been known to take 400 pictures in a 30-minute photo shoot. And even when I do a selfie, I take 30 pictures to find one I like. I'm as critical about myself as everybody. So I totally get it. I'm the perfect photographer because I totally understand. You know, I don't want the goot, you know, I got to get the right angle.
yeah, I guess part of what I have discovered in it all is that it's those ideas in our head.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So you actually did a series called See Me.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that was about, and
Yeah.
a little bit?
I was doing, you know, I just had got a photo studio downstairs. And so my daughter offered to be a model for me. And we did a boudoir shoot. And she was 24 at the time. And she followed, I can't remember the group she follows. I'm sorry, I should have written that down. But she wanted to write words on her back that said who she was. And I love that she has come at such an early age, at a young age, to I am more than my body. And so the word she chose was like sister, dancer, you know, peacemaker, the things that she just felt were her and not the way she looked. And we in the garage, you know, I found a paintbrush and some old acrylic paint, and I painted them on her back, and then we did some photos. And I posted that on Facebook and asked if anybody else wanted to do it. And I ended up doing 28 women. And it was so emotional for everybody to choose the words, to be vulnerable with me. I mean, I didn't know half of the women. They came into my house, and then we talked, and then they took their shirt off and I started painting on their back. So it was a really emotional experience for a lot of the women. Some of them were overweight and wanted to do it because of that, which I really, really appreciated, and just so moving. And they all felt, once they claimed the words, that they owned them. You know, once they wrote the words, at first it was really hard to pick. They didn't want to, one person said she didn't want to lie. And we just have a hard time saying who we are. Like they think it's like bragging, but it's not really bragging. It's just who you are. Like, and you're beautiful. And some of them, I love that some of them wrote that they were beautiful. You know, it just was a lovely, lovely experience. And yeah, it was moving. It was really moving, and for all of the women as well.
Yes. Do you know who Roseanne Olson is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. She did this really beautiful photo book of it's a book of nudes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was women of all ages, and I did a show with her.
Oh, okay. We'll look her up.
Look that up, because there's a lot of similarity in what you did.
Well, and I love that. And there was quite a difference in age, like from, I think the youngest person was early 19, and then up to a 60-year-old. So it was quite a range of women. But I would love to do, I've just put on, I love older women. Like I wish women in their 70s and 80s were willing to get photographed. And I know with COVID, it's all weird because they're scared to even come out. But
some of them are, surprisingly. I think the oldest one that Roseanne had was actually in her 90s.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. I just think because maybe because I've been an artist my whole life, I see beauty everywhere. I see beauty in every line. I mean, it's those things. Yeah, go ahead.
Like your ladies, they had all kinds of different reasons for doing it. Like there was a lady that had cancer, and there was a young woman that had a terminal illness.
There's one lady right now that has cancer, and actually a few of them were domestically abused. And it was really important that they have this, I mean, they had it printed out and they have it on their bathroom mirror. It really helped them reclaim themselves. And I didn't mean to start a movement, but it was really lovely that I was there for them. I was really happy that happened.
So, well, you kind of said was it your daughter that motivated you to do that? What she had?
Yeah, I didn't, she had the idea, and she had seen like people hold up signs that, in front of them just saying, I'm more than my diagnosis, basically. And she just thought it would be cool because we were doing a boudoir shoot to paint them on our back. And that's how it came about. So it was really her idea.
Yeah, that is very, it's a creative way of expressing.
And especially to say I'm more than my body, and you're half naked, and it's such a vulnerable thing to be half naked anyway. And then to say, I am these things, I'm more than that. It was very exhausting. It was emotionally exhausting for me every time. I'd be like, because they were so emotional, but it was a real honor to be able to do it.
And empowering, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they wrote me some testimonials saying how it really changed their life in some cases. So it was wonderful.
And so what impact did it have on you personally?
I think the most beautiful thing about a person, the most beautiful quality in a person, is when they can be vulnerable. For some reason, that word means a lot to me. And a long time ago, I painted some women half naked. I'm not a great artist, though, so this was much better, but I'm not a great painter. But it was empowering for me too. Well, I don't know if it was empowering. It just was a blessing that I was able to hear these women's stories and do this for them, because it was a no charge series. I mean, I just did it out of the goodness of my heart. And so it was just, and I felt really blessed by each person that came through the door and shared their story with me, and then, you know, left a little bit stronger and taller.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see
And then
that.
after that, actually, I did a series called Real Men. And again, it's an open call. I don't ask anybody. They either come to me or they don't. They see the post or they don't. It's just real. I just figure whoever's supposed to see it will. And the most interesting people replied to that one as well. And these were men I didn't know. And I mean, there was a transgender man. One man was quadriplegic, a gay man. Just I just loved that it brought all these different people to me, and I got to meet them, and that they also felt, you know, empowered, saying, I'm a real man, even though I don't fit the norm. So it was great to do that too. And of course I didn't want to paint on any man's hairy back. So it wasn't a naked photo shoot. It wasn't a half naked photo shoot. It was completely clothed, but it was really exciting. And, you know, we tried to find something that was unique about them and show that in the photo. Like for the transgender man, I had a mask with a wig, a woman's face, and it was in the garbage can, along with a bottle of, whatever alcohol, I can't remember, rum. Oh, Captain Morgan's rum that I bought. And because he's been sober for 3 years. And so it was really fun trying to come up with, you know, this is the picture of them. This is who this person is in one photo. That was really fun. Yeah.
So, in a more general sense, what is your hope when you take a photograph? What do you want to convey?
Well, I really do love telling a story. I hope to tell the person's story, and nothing to do with me. I mean, I don't want it to be about me at all. I want the person to feel like this is who they are, you know, no matter how they're dressed. If they're a sweatpants kind of person, that's how I want to photograph you. They often ask, you know, what do you want me to wear? And I always say what you feel most comfortable in. I honestly think that you shouldn't have your hair and makeup done. I think you should look like you and feel like you. I just love, like, I'm assuming it's because my mother died so young. I just love capturing who you are. I want that moment. I want the you know, where maybe there's some joy, but if you're sad, maybe there's some sadness. I would just want to capture it. The one who has cancer, we did take photos of her in my studio where she's sad, where we thought about it and talked about it, and she's honestly showing her emotions, and it was really moving and beautiful. And I'm honored to take those photos, because that's what I want to show, is real life and the beauty even in that sadness. She looks beautiful in those photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned vulnerability a little earlier, and
Yeah.
so I wanted to ask you a little bit more about what that means to you.
I think the people who open up and dig deep are just fascinating to me, and I appreciate vulnerability. And I don't know why that's such a strong word with me, but it's a theme that I have continued, and I feel like I am always vulnerable, that I'm willing to show you where my heart is, and I just appreciate that in other people as well. I don't want any walls up. I'd like to know what everybody's thinking, although that might be dangerous, but I really do want to know what you're thinking. I don't want any pretenses.
Yes, vulnerability is hard for people.
It is.
I think it's very powerful once you can be vulnerable, but I do something called soul talks.
Yes.
And vulnerability is one that I've wanted to do. And I've reached out to a couple of people that I thought they've shown vulnerability. Maybe they would be a good person to have that talk with. But then they'll say, well, no, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that.
Well, I mean,
So
I know.
hard.
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, because it's not hard for me, I don't get it. Because, but I do understand. I understand that it is hard for others, but it's not. Somebody said they appreciate that I'm vulnerable, and I thought, well, it's not even something I'm trying to do. It's harder for me to be the opposite. So, I'm just totally open and always have been. I share too much. That's what I've been told. I've offended some family members accidentally saying, talking about my past. And so, but I just,
think it's very powerful when you can be vulnerable, but sometimes, like I have seen a few people be very vulnerable and then feel, like, whoops, I shouldn't have said that.
yeah. Well, I've thought that a few times based on people's reactions, but that's what I'm saying. I still appreciate it when it happens, and I love it, and I really love it one-on-one. When I was doing these photos, I was doing, before COVID hit, I was doing 52 women in 52 weeks. I was interviewing them and photographing them and sharing one a week. And I think I got up to 25 right before COVID hit. And we would sit together for sometimes 2 hours, and I would audio tape our meeting, but I never used any words they said, because this one-on-one always became this beautiful, where they would just tell me their secrets, and I didn't want to share their secrets. Again, it was such an honor that I just love that. It's a little bit like Humans of New York, except I'm not sharing anything. I get to know snippets of people's lives, and I feel so lucky about that. And it's the camera that brings that to me. And so that's really why I love photography, because I mean, I could ask these women to come have coffee with me and talk to me, but it's the photographs at the end after we have shared so much that really kind of cinch the deal. It's nice. And that was a free series too. I know it's my passion because they say, if you would do it for free, then it's your passion. Well, I really would do it, and I do it for free. I just want to take pictures. I want to capture moments, and I'll do whatever it takes.
Well, look at what Roseanne did.
Okay, I will for sure.
Maybe I'll have to talk to you about something I have in mind.
Oh yeah, love that.
For a project that I want to do, that maybe some photography would be a good.
Awesome, I love that. Yeah. I wanna pass the blessing of capturing a moment for you. That's really just my life goal here.
So, do you have any future goals or projects in mind?
My dream for myself is to travel to exotic places and take photos of people and get paid to do it. That would be a lovely dream of mine.
Always nice, yes.
That would be wonderful. Well, because I have it in my head, I think I can make it happen.
Yeah.
And
if you want to do both.
Right. 10 years, 20 years. I don't know how long it'll take, but I'm hoping that happens for me. Ideas come up all the time, and as soon as they come up, I say, does anybody want to do this? And then I get a full series. So I mean, I'm always open to ideas, and I love collaboration, and that's what I really like about I've been a graphic designer for 30 years, and it's pretty solo. I'm self-employed, but what I like about taking photos is the person brings their own thing to the table. I mean, it's about them. And so I'm the art director, but they are definitely directing it, and it's all about them. And it's really lovely to be this collaborative experience, which I'm missing in graphic design sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of an off the subject question, but I've been asking all of my guests.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you, what has surprised you most about life?
When I learned to take responsibility for everything, for where I am and everything that's happened to me. When I stopped being a victim of circumstances, and
Oh,
it changed my life, and it allowed me to choose happiness rather than, oh, it happens for them and it doesn't happen to me. I realize it's all my choice. Everything is. And that comes with taking responsibility for everything, which was really hard at first.
yeah,
It's
that is
really hard,
surprising. I'll have to agree.
but it's freeing. It is the most freeing thing. As soon as you say, that didn't happen. I was a contributor anyway. Even if I was a contributor to what happened. And so I was seeing a lady who told me that I had to take responsibility. And I was like, what? Because somebody had borrowed a lot of money from me. And I really felt like a victim of that because they weren't paying me back. And she said, they didn't put a gun to your head. And my eyes flew open and I was like, oh, I did willingly give it. And so as soon as I took responsibility, all the anger left, and I was free. And so that's all I'm saying, is that taking responsibility equals freedom.
Yes, definitely. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. So that has been a surprise.
A good surprise.
A good surprise. Yes.
Yes. So we're getting close to the end of our time, but if you could leave the listeners with one thought from today's show, what would you want that to be?
I hope I quote it correctly, but Mary Oliver's, what do you want to do with this one wild and precious life? That, don't waste a second, that you only have this one wild and precious life, and you're precious. You're the sweet, innocent child you were once. You still are, and to take care of that child in you.
Great.
Yeah.
So if people want to get a hold of you for photography or...
It's very easy. It's Hara.photography. HARA.photography is the website.
Okay.
And if it's on Facebook or Instagram, it's Hare Allison Photography. It's easy to search.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the mistake of trying to put .com after that photography.
Yeah, that happens a lot. It's too bad because it's dot photography is the .com, but it's hard to explain. But it's Hara.photography.
Well, they have so many different ways you can do
I
it.
I know, but it's so clever. If people wouldn't write .com, it's really a smart URL.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Hara. Yeah, it's unique. So, but
okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been great.
Yes, thank you for being here, and keep up the great photography and the great ideas.
Thanks. I look forward to hearing your idea.
Yes, we'll have to talk about it, definitely.
Okay. Thank you so much.
We have another great show planned for next week. Next week, in honor of Valentine's Day, although it won't quite be Valentine's Day yet, it'll, be February 9th. My guests will be Kathleen Cavender and Mark Ritter. And they've been trying to have a wedding for, I don't know, a little more than a year. And COVID came along and kind of got in the way. So we're going to hear about how they got through the year and their future plans for their wedding. So I think it'll be a interesting and romantic show. So be sure to tune in next week. Hara actually knows Kathleen. So,
yeah, very well.
So that will be 3 p.m. next Tuesday. And I have a quote for you to carry with you through your week. And that is photography records a gamut of feelings written on the human face, the beauty of the earth and the skies that man has inherited, and the wealth of confusion, wealth and confusion man has created. It is a major force in explaining man to man. And that was said by Edward Session. Yeah, I think
I
that's
love
it.
that.
Yes, I really liked his words, even if I
Yeah.
don't know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
So, thank you again, Hara, and thank you to the listeners. And I'm just going to say bye for now.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Soul Fire Wisdom with Kate Olson. We hope you enjoyed the show. If we made you laugh, brightened your day, or sparked a new thought, we have succeeded in our mission. Join us next time when we'll share more secrets and truths and all the magic of transformation that is the journey to Soul Fire Wisdom. Always remember, be fierce in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire.